about 2 years ago, Brazil was not that important in Autodesk. Autodesk is, I think, in 60 countries. We have offices in 60 countries around the world. Our software is used in every country, but we had, physical presence or business presence in 60 countries around the world. We divide the markets into the Americas, into EMEA, into Asia Pacific, and we also divide them into certain countries like Japan or U.S. or Canada or Germany, for example. And Brazil was in what was called the emerging markets. So that meant we were saying, well, we see potential there, but it's not a market it's not a mature market like a Germany or United States or Britain or something like that, or Japan. 2 years ago, that changed dramatically. All of a sudden, Brazil became for us one of the most important countries. I like to think that I contributed to that because I've been coming to Brazil I think I've been coming to Brazil for 8 years, and always to a MundoGEO event, used to be Geo Brazil, and I'd always usually gave a talk here and I had a chance to meet people and whatever, and I've really been pushing the case that Brazil was important. But I think 2 years ago, it was a combination of the world economic events, the fact that, people had suddenly become aware of how incredibly successful the Brazilian economy has been in the last 20 years. I mean, the statistics I know, the Brazilian economy was doing extremely well. People bought things and sold things. And from an Autodesk point of view, we saw it as a huge opportunity. We really ramped up our office here. Right now, I mean, we really need floor space. I mean, I think we're up to 40 people now. And when I first came here, I think there was maybe 15 or something like that. So it's become very important for Autodesk. There's a couple of things that I think that are most interesting. First of all, I think starting about 2 or 3 years ago, in the past, AutoCAD was came on a lot of CDs. You had to install it. It was complicated to install. You needed a big desktop machine or whatever. And the fact that now you could do AutoCAD across the web was remarkable. I mean, all of a sudden, you really didn't have to know anything about installing software or Windows or anything to run AutoCAD. And like I said, it's iPhone, Android devices, iPads. Right? So that's big. And that's just the beginning of really a huge transition. Carl Bass has said, who's our CEO, has said that in 3 years, all of our applications that are for the most part right now on desktop are going to be something that you can run in the cloud, right? So this is cloud computing, but it's cloud and mobile and so on. So that's one thing. The other thing that I think is the other thing that is just incredible is that until about 2 years ago, we had 8 million customers or 12 million customers. There's different ways to calculate that, but something on the order of 10 million customers. In the last 10 years, we now have about 60 million customers. So we've gone from 8 million to 60 million, and that's all because of mobile, and cloud, new devices like iPhones, Android, iPads, and so on. We've done some major acquisitions in consumer applications, and the reason is because consumer IT is driving the industry now. The other area that I think is really critical is interoperability, and that means being able to take building information models, which is a big thing that architects and construction companies and designers are using now for highway design, whether utility design, building design, or whatever, and being able to integrate those with traditional geospatial data sources and put it all into a 3D gaming environment so that you can experience an entire city. I mean, you can walk through a whole city, and it's just a start now. I mean, it includes laser scanning, remote sensing data, captured from airplanes and satellites and things like that. But the fact now that we have a product at Autodesk called Infrastructure Modeler, which allows you to bring engineering data, traditional geospatial, remote sensed, everything into basically a gaming environment, so that you can walk through it, you can create videos, you can do fly-throughs and whatever. And it's just the beginning now, and I think you're going to see that really take off. I gave an interview with somebody for 45 minutes. Oh, I told them the most incredible stuff,
my God.
And the microphone wasn't on.